Good morning, students. We have already discussed about sand casting. Sand mold casting is most versatile method of casting. So for sand mold casting, various types of sand is used. So now we will discuss about these types of molding sand. Basically, molding sand is classified into two types, that is natural molding sand and number two is synthetic molding sand. So natural molding sand consists of refractory sand grains associated with clay right from their origin. It contains sufficient amount of binder material and moisture. But in case of synthetic molding sand, this sand is artificially prepared using basic sand molding constituents which are required to retain the mold. Those are silica sand in 85 to 91%, binder 6 to 11%, and water or moisture content is 2 to 8%, and other additives in proper proportion by weight. So, adding silica sand, binder and water, the synthetic molding sand is artificially prepared. Molding sand can also be classified into various types according to their use. These are backing sand, core sand, dry sand, facing sand, green sand, loam sand, putting sand and system sand. So first type of classification is based on origin, whether it is naturally obtained or artificially prepared. The second type of classification is based on the use of the sand. So green sand. Green sand is also known as tempered or natural sand. The first type of sand we have discussed, natural sand. Its other name is tempered sand or green sand. So this sand is prepared mixture of silica sand. So this is the constituents. Silica sand with 18 to 30% clay and moisture content is 6 to 8%. So this green sand is used for medium and small casting. This sand is very cheap, so it is generally used for molding, but for very large scale of casting this green sand is not used. So composition is silica with 18 to 30% clay and 6 to 8% moisture. The clay and water furnish the bond for green sand. So next is dry sand. So this green sand has a high amount of moisture. So when green sand is dried or baked in suitable oven after making mold and cores is called dry sand. We have already discussed green sand is used to make mold and core for small and medium casting. So after using the sand, if it is properly baked in a oven, then the obtained sand is called dry sand. Dry sand possesses more strength, rigidity and thermal stability. Dry sand is used for larger castings and for small casting where we require higher accuracy. Usually green sand is used for smaller and medium casting. But in the same case, if we require high accuracy, then we use dry sand for small and medium casting. But for larger castings, usually dry sand is used. Molds prepared in this sand are known as dry sand molds. Next is loam sand. Loam sand is a mixture of sand and clay with water to a thin plastic paste. In this case, the clay percentage is very high. So, it is in the form of a plastic paste. So, the constituent of loam sand is silica 30 to 50% clay and 18% water. Patterns are not used for loam molding and shape is given to mold by sweeps. So we will come across this sweep which is used for preparing the cavity without using the full pattern. After preparing the mold, it is baked to give strength to resist the flow of the molten metal. If we prepare the mold using loam sand, then we have to bake the loam before allowing the molten metal into the mold cavity. So loam sand, as I have already discussed, it is in the form of a paste. Though it is a mixture of sand and clay, because of the high percentage of clay, it is in the form of a paste. So after preparing the mold is baked in a to give a condition to enhance the strength before allowing the molten metal into the mold. Loam sand is particularly employed for loam molding for large grey iron casting. So I have already told green sand, it is very cheap, and for all small and medium casting, green sand is used. Only where we need a high range of accuracy, we go for dry sand. And for large castings, we use dry sand. And for particularly large grey iron casting, we use loam sand. Next is baking sand or floor sand. Baking sand is used to fill the whole volume of the molding flask. Baking sand is also called black sand because of old repeatedly used molding sand is black in color due to addition of coal dust. So backing sand is used to fill the major volume of the molding box or flask, except near the face or the layer where it come in contact with the pattern. All on the parting area, all other volume is filled with the help of backing sand. Next is core sand. We have already discussed what is core. Core is made up of sand. So the sand which is used for preparing the core is known as core sand. It is also known as oil sand because with silica, oil binder is mixed where we are preparing the sand for core material. So oil binders such as linseed oil, resin, light mineral oil and other bind material is added to silica where we are preparing core sand. So core sand is also known as oil sand because of high percentage of oil binders. And this sand is used to prepare cores. Next is facing sand. I have told the surface which will come in contact with the pattern. It will come in contact with the molten metal once the pattern is removed, and the molten metal will be pushed into the cavity. The face or the surface which will come in contact with the molten metal, in that case we don't use backing sand, rather we use facing sand. So facing sand, the difference between the backing sand and the facing sand is facing sand is not used earlier, where backing sand, the sand was used earlier. So facing sand is made up of silica sand and clay, but it is not used before. Next is parting sand. Parting sand is used at the parting surface or parting line. When we have discussed about sand molding method, we have described the mold box into two parts, scope and drag. So in between these two parts or at the contact area of these two parts, the parting line or the parting surface exists. So at this parting surface or parting line, we use parting sand. Parting sand is clean, clay-free silica sand. All other sand was composed of silica and clay. Only the percentage of clay varies, but for parting sand it is only of silica granules. No clay material is there in the parting sand. Next and last is the system sand. In sand molding, we don't use system sand. We use backing sand, facing sand, parting sand at particular areas. And depending on the type of casting, whether it is a larger size or small size or medium size, and considering the accuracy, we use green sand, dry sand and loam sand. But system sand is used in mechanized foundries where machine molding is employed. We will discuss about some type of machine molding. such as die casting or centrifugal casting. So where this machine molding is used, we use system sand. System sand is used to fill the whole molding flask. The used sand is cleaned and reactivated by the addition of water and special additives. Since the whole mold is made up of this system sand, the properties such as strength, permeability, and refractoriness of the molding sand must be higher than those of backing sand, because backing sand was used only in the remaining areas which are not coming in contact with the molting metal or the parting surface. There, in that case, we used different sands, parting sand and facing sand. But in this case, as the whole mold is of only one type of sand, that is system sand. So system sand has more strength, permeability, refractoriness than backing sand. So this is all about different types of sand which are used in preparation of mold cavity. So the general properties of molding sand. You have already known molding is nothing but a cavity which is framed in sand bed. So this cavity is filled with the molten metal, and that molten metal solidifies and we get the proper object or known as casting. So that lathe bed and the bigger machine beds or larger wheels, so these are prepared by means of casting. So what properties must be retained by molding sand? So number one is flowability or plasticity. So it is the ability of the molding sand to flow and get compacted all round the pattern when rammed. So during the process of molding, we have already discussed, we have to keep the mold box, then the pattern, then we have to fill off the remaining area of the box with the help of molding sand, and we have to ram the sand. So when we ram, the sand must flow to all the areas to give the exact required shape. So this flowing property or the ability to flow is known as flowability. So flowability or plasticity is a required property of the molding sand. Next is refractoriness. So what is refractoriness? It is the ability to withstand high temperature. You have already come across the word refractory lining or refractory brick. So what do you mean by the difference between simple brick and refractory brick? Refractory brick has the property to withstand high temperature. So as the mold cavity has to withstand the high temperature of the molten metal, so this sand must have ability to withstand high temperature without breaking down or fusing. So this property is known as refractoriness. The refractoriness of silica sand is highest. That is why we use silica sand in preparation of molding. Next is permeability. So permeability is the ability to allow air and hot gases to pass through it. Permeable surface means they have pores so that the hot gas or air or moisture can evacuate. They can pass through the surface. Here during molding, as the sand has moisture quantity, so they will become steam and other hot gases must pass through the sand bed. Otherwise, the smooth and perfect casting will not be obtained. That is why the material, the molding sand must be permeable, or permeability is the desired property of molding sand. Next is green strength. The molding sand that contains moisture is termed as green sand. And green strength is the ability of green sand to retain the shape of the constructed mold. That means when green sand is used, the strength of the green sand is known as green strength. Next is dry strength. It is the ability of molding sand to retain the exact shape of the mold cavity in dry condition when the molten metal is poured in the mold. So what is the strength? To withstand the metal pressure of the liquid metal. The dry strength prevents the enlargement of mold cavity. Next is hot strength. So this is the ability to retain the exact shape at an elevated temperature. So it should not enlarge. The cavity must have the exact shape when the molten metal is poured. Due to elevated or high temperature, it should not change. The dimension of the cavity must not change. So this strength to retain its exact shape at elevated temperature is known as hot strength. Next is adhesiveness. So adhesiveness is the ability to stick to other surface. So this is the force of attraction between two different surfaces. So in this case, this is the force between the mold box and mold sand. So mold sand must have adhesiveness so that it will not break near the molding box. And cohesiveness is the attraction between the molecules of the same material. So cohesiveness is the property of molding sand by virtue of which the sand grain attract each other within the molding box. Next is collapsibility. Collapsibility is the property by virtue of which molding sand is easily stripped off the casting after the molten metal in the mold gets solidified. So there must be collapse. The sand must be removed. It will not attach to the casting. The lack of collapsibility results tears and cracks in the casting. If it cannot be removed properly, stripped off properly, then it will result certain defects, tears and cracks in the casting. So, in addition to these basic properties, certain miscellaneous properties are required. So, these are: the molding sand should not stick to the casting and should not chemically react with the metal. With the liquid metal, it should not stick or react. Molding sand need be economically cheap and easily available in nature, and it need be reusable for economic reasons. So these are the properties of molding sand and various types of molding sand. So this molding sand is used to prepare the mold, which is the skeleton of the casting. We have to prepare the pattern, and with the help of the pattern we have to create a cavity through which the molten metal will be poured. So this cavity is known as mold, and the process is known as molding, and the sand used for preparing this mold and core is known as molding sand. So in the next video we will discuss about patterns.